Sorry. In chat, I will put my email and my phone number. For those of you that are new to Prospect, first-time parents, whoops. Our emails all work the same. The only catch is you have to know the teacher's first name. So I'm Mike, obviously, so it's mike.riedy@d214.org. My phone number, this is my phone number, so if you call it, you won't get me because I'm never by my phone, but when you leave a voicemail, it dumps into my email. I will get back to you within 24 hours. I don't know if I said this already because this is all a blur, but I prefer phone calls versus emails. Did I say that already? Okay, good. Well, if you send me an email about something, I'm probably going to call you. If you call me, I'll call you back. It's just the way I prefer to operate. I find that email conversations take 30 or 40 emails, whereas we can spend 5 minutes on the phone and knock it out like that. But if it doesn't work out and our times don't match up, then we can always exchange emails. Okay? So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of how the class operates. As far as the content of the class goes, right now, as I said, we spent about a week and a half doing team building, getting to know you type activities. Last session, we started doing some algebra. So theoretically, they've all had a year of algebra and they should all know their algebra. That's not necessarily the case. So we've got people all over the place. There are some people that are bored silly because they're just flying through the algebra. There's other people that swear they've never seen this basic algebra stuff. So I'm trying to get everybody to the same point. At some stage, probably next week, we're going to start geometry, and then everybody's going to be on level playing ground. It doesn't require any previous knowledge. Until we get to that point, there's going to be a little bit of anxiety and a little bit of stress. Some of them have already run into some problems with homework. They're finding it too difficult. They don't remember it, whatever. Every day I do a 0 hour. So we have time early in the morning. Classes don't start till 10 o'clock. I have a 0 hour that runs from 9:30 to 9:55 every day. They have the Zoom link. It's a constant Zoom link. It's open every day. There are exceptions. Sometimes I'm in meetings I can't get out of, whatever. They are more than welcome to come into that 0 hour anytime they want, ask questions, go about their day. They don't need to let me know ahead of time. They don't have to make an appointment. Sometimes it gets a little crazy. Like today I gave a calculus assessment. So I had 4 or 5 calculus kids in there freaking out. And then I had some geometry kids. I just throw them into breakout rooms and then I bounce back and forth between the breakout rooms. So that's the first opportunity that they can get if they need to get extra help. I'm also free periods 3, 4, and 5. And so if for some reason they can't make 0 hour, they can send me an email and we can set up an appointment during periods 3, 4, or 5 and create a Zoom link and then they can come in and get the help they need. So there's plenty of opportunities outside of class. There's also plenty of opportunities inside class. So in breakout sessions, they have the technology or the capability to page me to their breakout room. And so we use that a lot of different ways. If they're struggling with some work, they can page me and we can work through it. I also have them page me, like for instance, when they finish an assignment. So today's class, for instance, went like this. They came in as a group, we talked, I didn't see them today. Okay, tomorrow's class will look like this. They're gonna come in and we're gonna go over the day 2 homework together as a big group. I'll do some problems for them. I'll take questions from anybody that has them. And then I put them into their breakout rooms and they are going to do an exploration. So what's an exploration? I am not a fan of probably the way that you learned math, which is the same way I learned math. And that is teacher stands at the board, writes a bunch of stuff down. You copy all that stuff down. You go home and memorize it. And in a week, you're just going to puke it back to me. That's not learning. That's just memorization. I'm trying to do something different. And some of them have succeeded very well with that whole memorization process and are struggling a little bit with this new system. So an exploration is basically an opportunity for them to get in and play with some math. And so they know how to graph a line, but they might not know how to find an X and Y intercept. So I'm gonna give them the tools to play with that for a little bit and see what they can come up with. I find it much more productive. I find that the learning increases drastically when they're discovering things on their own. Now, that doesn't mean that I just sit back and drink a Diet Pepsi and read a book while they're working. I'm in there guiding them through that. And then when that exploration is over tomorrow, we'll come back to the big group, go over some problems, answer some questions, and make sure everybody's on the same page. Then they take those skills they learned on the exploration and from our discussion and work on homework that night. That process pretty much repeats, with exceptions to different things. Some days there won't be an exploration. Sometimes we will do a traditional lecture type thing using the technology here in the classroom. Okay, so you probably want to know what an assessment looks like, right? Yeah, I have no idea. None of us do. So I'm trying different things. Hopefully one of them will work well. What I don't want to do is I don't want to be a babysitter, and I don't want to be the person that's trying to catch people cheating. So what we've done, we being myself and Mrs. Konopke, who teaches this class with me, we've spent a lot of time talking about educational philosophy, like what does it mean to cheat? Okay. And that changes depending on the dynamic that you have set up. So for instance, a student at home is taking a quiz, they have their notes, they have their calculator, they have a phone, they have the interwebs, they have all these tools that they can use. So is that cheating if they're using the tools that are at hand? Well, now I could say to them, work on this quiz and don't use any of that stuff that's sitting right next to you, but we all know how far that would get us. So when they take this first assessment next week, I'm probably going to do the first one as a group activity. So they will go into their breakout rooms where it's them and 3 other students, and they'll pull it up off the website and they'll start working on it. When they're done, and they'll turn it in. And depending on the student, that could be sitting in a room with 3 other people working by themselves, getting it done and submitting it. It could be sitting in a room working on it and asking friends questions or answering questions of friends. Or it could be all 4 people working together on it. They have the capability in breakout rooms to share their screens. So what I do with my iPad and my touch screen, they can do the same thing in their breakout rooms. And so a very verbose manner, what I'm saying is I'm encouraging them working together. It becomes a team effort. Education is about the only thing where people are talked out of working with others. I can't think of, and if anybody can think of a job where you're not encouraged to go get help for things you're struggling with, I would love to hear about it. But my daughter works for Target corporate in Minneapolis, and she's told me some of the things that they do. And I've told her some of the things I do in education. She thinks it's absolutely ludicrous. Of course, she's 23. What does she know? But my point being, there's going to be a lot of cooperative work. And I also talk to them a lot about what does it mean to work with somebody versus working near somebody versus working for somebody. And so we're trying to write assessments that get to the heart of the matter and have them demonstrate that they're actually learning and they're not just memorizing and puking facts up. So one of the questions they hate the most is why. So solve this problem. X equals 4. Great. Why? And that just derails some of them because well, I got the answer right. Yeah, but why is it 4? So that process is something we're getting to, and some of them are not liking that at all, and they won't like it, but others are starting to buy into the process. We don't give tests in this class. I have found over the years that tests are much more harmful than they are beneficial. In a math classroom, what happens is you give 1 or 2 quizzes per chapter, and then you take this big honking test. That test requires 2 or 3 days of preparation. Stress levels go up, anxiety levels go up. Everybody starts freaking out over the test. And if they have a bad day on that test day, it can destroy grades, and everybody has a bad day. So I have found that I found a lot more success by doing, instead of 1 or 2 quizzes per chapter, I do 4 to 6 quizzes per chapter. They're smaller, they're cleaner, they're more succinct in the topic that we're covering, less pressure, and it doesn't interrupt the flow of the class. Now, they're coming in with this philosophy of, it's just a quiz, I don't care. I'll take care of it on the test. And so early on, I'm stressing with them that quizzes are all you got. There is no test to save you. However, there is also no test to destroy you. Okay. Got that. Oh, calculators. They need a calculator. TI-84. Unfortunately, for those of you that haven't purchased one, they are expensive. They're over $100. It is an investment that they will use for the next 4 years and probably then the 4 to 7 to 12 years in college, depending on what they go into. We gear a lot of our lessons towards that particular calculator. So that is one they need to have. It is a graphing calculator. TI-84, there's a couple different versions. Any TI-84 is good to go. I know there's something I'm forgetting, but I'm running out of gas and I need a drink. So if somebody would be helpful in asking me a question, that would be fantastic. Or we can just uncomfortably stare at each other for a couple more minutes.
Hi, Mr. Riedy, Christine Bartels. How are you?
Good.
So you said that they don't have tests. They have several quizzes. What do you do finals week?
They take a final.
Oh.
And in fact, they also, assuming we can figure out how to make this work, they take a midterm also. So there are some high stakes assessments, but there's only 2 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't, I don't have the power to get them out of finals. If I could, I would be the most popular guy in the building. So yeah, the final, that monster is going to loom over their head for quite some time. But that's a long way away, and we do a ton of prep to get them ready for that. Same thing is true with the midterm.
Okay.
Good. Thank you. A question. Anybody else?
Yeah, sure.
No, I am over my prescribed 9 o'clock time, so we're getting kind of rebellious here. If anybody needs to stick around and ask questions, but obviously you don't have any questions, so I hope everybody has a good evening. If you have any problems whatsoever, questions, concerns, like I tell the kids, so many problems can be solved by communication. So get in touch with me. Okay? Have a great night, everybody.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, you too.
Take care.